Well, I'm going to be honest, this is kind of the first time I've been a part of a show or a project that I think more people than just like 10 people in the industry have seen. I think this is quite a new experience for me.
When you all gather to celebrate Jason Sudekis' next birthday, what will you be singing?
Who knows? If you'll let me in.
I'm going to drag you there by your hair and go, no, it hurts. You go.
Yeah, I'm not going if she's not going.
Hi there, my name's Clark Collis. I'm senior writer at Entertainment Weekly magazine, and it is my huge pleasure to say that I'm here with three of the stars of season 2 of Ted Lasso, which premieres July 23rd. I am here with Hannah Waddingham. Hello, Hannah.
Afternoon.
I am here with Juno Temple. Hello, Juno.
Hello.
And I am here with Sarah Niles. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Sarah plays a new character on Ted Lasso. I'm sure she'll be telling me all about that in a couple of minutes. I'm sure there'll be no problem with her just spilling the beans on all of season 2. But before I do, I mean, first of all, thank you for being here. And it seems weird to say, but thank you for Ted Lasso. It has been, it goes without saying, a pretty rough year. And, you know, but there have been some bright spots. And I think for a lot of people, watching Ted Lasso was certainly one of them.
Howdy, y'all.
Ted! What do you say to a cocktail, Coach Lasso?
Oh, the same thing I'd say to Diane Sawyer if she ever asked me out on a date. Yes, please.
Hannah, when did you, I mean, obviously Apple does not release ratings, but when did you sort of realize that it was becoming a success, the show?
Well, it was kind of immediate, really, because I think Apple dropped like 2 or 3 episodes first. After that, social media went mental. And having worried myself about where the show might sit or what the tone of the show would be, because of course you're so busy just keeping your head down and burrowing away and trying to make your contribution the best it can be, but whilst not really knowing at the beginning what you're doing, I was just thinking, oh God, does it know what it is? And then of course, when you see something all spliced and edited together, you're like, oh, and I kind of stole myself away to not look, and then I thought, I've just got to know. And as soon as I looked, I just thought, oh, and it made my whole body go cold, because I just thought, oh God, I think we might have hit on something magic, haven't I?
And Juno, people love all the characters on Ted Lasso, but people seem particularly invested, I would say, in the relationship between your character Keely and the character of Roy. Is that something that you sort of come across in your general life, or I don't mean I mean, you know,
Which co-star do I fancy the most? No, I think it's something for me.
Let me rephrase that. I was wondering if that's something that people, you know, talk to you about.
Well, I'm going to be honest, this is kind of the first time I've been a part of a show or a project that I think more people than just like 10 people in the industry have seen. I think this is quite a new experience for me of people actually, you know, even like my brother's friends. I've got 2 younger brothers, and my brother's friends watching the show and not having to be embarrassed that I'm like playing a, you know, naked lesbian werewolf or something like that. So they're getting to enjoy it. And I think it's really interesting having friends and family and, you know, people I admire and people who I listen to and who give me advice throughout life talking about this character that I'm playing and the relationships that she's going through on the show, because they are so human. And she has such a delightful way of, I think, genuinely meeting people and wanting them to see the best in themselves and seeing this quality that they have where they could really, I don't know, shine and then help use that shine to help other people find their good qualities. And so I think the relationship between her and Roy is a great one, because she also knows that ultimately he's got a lot to give. What's so lovely about that whole kind of, you know, the Jamie, Roy, but then also for Keely, the Rebecca relationship, because Rebecca is somebody that kind of does that for Keely. And so I think it becomes, Keely is an extraordinary character to play because she gives a lot, but then she has this amazing woman that gives more than I think any woman has ever given her in her life.
Are you dating other people? It's okay if you are, it's just that I want to know so that I don't look stupid.
It was yoga, okay? I do yoga with a group of women in their 60s. They've no idea who I am. It's twice a week and it's really good for my core.
And Sarah, could you talk about, you're joining the show on season 2. Could you talk about, you know, landing the role? And what were you aware, had the show been out by the time you were cast in in the role?
Yes, it had been out, and we were in a lockdown, and I got asked to do a self-tape. I was just like, I don't know. I got a friend to help me do this self-tape. I was like, I don't know this show, but I knew who Jason was. I'm a big SNL fan, so I knew he was, but I was like, I don't know what this show is. My friend, when I told my friend, he was like, oh my gosh, this show, you have to watch it. You have to watch it. So then I thought, I'm not going to watch it yet. I'm just going to do the self-tape. I just go what's on the page, and then I started watching it. I was like, I have to get this. Because I said to Jason, I was doing all kinds of like lighting candles, visualization, manifestation. I was like, Jason, get the job. So I was so thrilled to get this job. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. I was so giddy.
I appreciate you're limited in what you can say because
Yeah.
Apple is recording all of this and will doubtless be. But
I think they're recording our lives sometimes.
well, I think we record it for them and then hand it to them, to be honest with you. But that's fine. Could you tell us a little bit about your character and what we could expect from season 2 with regards to your character?
I think she's full of surprises. She's nothing like me. She's very well put together, very good at her job, very organized. Trying to think not to do any spoilers, but I feel like she's a challenge. I mean, nothing is what it is when you first meet someone. It's never quite what you think. And I think in the nature of the world that she's in, she makes very quick assumptions, and she has to do that for her job. And I think Ted surprises her, and she may surprise Ted.
Fair enough.
Maybe we should bring in a sports psychologist.
Brought you a little something for your first day of work here.
I don't eat sugar.
Really? I've never met someone that doesn't eat sugar. Only heard about them. They all live in this godless place called Santa Monica.
Well, one of the things I love about the show is that I guess all of the characters in different shows could be, briefly sketched stereotypes. The woman that owns the football club, the woman who's into Instagram and is a footballer's girlfriend. These could all be, like I say, like sort of trite stereotypes. But on this show, it seems really important to the creators and also really important to the success of the show that these are all, everybody is a rounded character, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Not just rounded, that when you first meet them, you expect them to be one thing, and by the end of season 1, every single character surprises you. I really think it's a proper example of don't ever dare to judge a book by its cover, because everyone has got hundreds of pages with each word that matters inside both cover ends. It's not okay to judge a book by its cover, because all the things going on inside are just as important as the outside, and you miss out on a lot of incredible qualities of people by doing that. And I think Ted Lasso is a really extraordinary example of that.
Yeah, we don't shy away. The writers haven't shied away from showing anyone's bits and pieces that they feel are ugly. We are all, with every turn of the page, with every new script, I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're showing that part of that person or that person's foible, and you're like, cool, let's do it. And I think that's the charm of it. It's no holes barred, just human flaws and how we ebb and flow through that and cope.
And how we do that with comedy in our real lives also. Right?
Did any of you base the role, even in the smallest way, on somebody either in the public eye, I guess, in the case of your character Hannah, or anybody or anybody that you've come across?
Mine was very loosely based, of course, on Karen Brady, just in terms of me being very aware that she has never once apologized for her femininity or her sexuality, and that was important to me, to not paint Rebecca, because she is at first seen as this frosty, very businesslike, cut-off entity. I thought, yes, but that doesn't mean that she needs to not be, sartorially elegant and to bother with herself. In fact, so much so, I wanted her to be so bothered with and so perfect that is the veneer that nobody manages to penetrate until further on in the season. So in terms of the power of Karen Brady walking into, I watched a lot of videos of her, of how she carries herself, even her hand gestures, the angle of her head, just in terms of making people stand up and listen. But the rest of it was more to do with what I've been through in the past, and I never shy away from saying it, a verbally abusive relationship that I've had in my past, and it was actually very nice to have some kind of catharsis and get that out of my own body. And so when I realized that that's the way it was going with Rebecca, I just thought, okay, I've got this, and I know who Rebecca is.
And what about you, Juno?
Oh, I always find somebody that inspires a character, but I'm not gonna lie, I like to keep that secret because they're normally quite personal to me. They're normally quite dear to me and quite close to me. But a woman in my life who is one of my best friends has been a big part of my inspiration for Keely, just because she is somebody who, in the most extraordinary way, always manages to bring a little bit of light into whatever room, whatever space, whatever transport, everywhere she goes. She just brings a little bit of light with her, and she's not perfect. Yeah, she's a very, very dear friend of mine, and so I think of her often when I'm playing Keely. But yeah, I like to keep it private who I think about with characters.
What about playing a sports psychologist? Did you what kind of research did you do with that?
I had lots of conversations with Jason about it, and I got he suggested lots of books. I picked up loads of books, and I found her such a challenge in a way that I feel like everyone's shifted since this whole lockdown, COVID, and you can't help but just need for a laugh and leave for joy. And sometimes I was challenged by this character because she is very, very good at her job, very efficient. And one of the things I remember when they put on the page was that she's very warm and kind. And I mean, I had conversations with Jason even about the subject of her not just being a woman in that world of football, a male, but also being a Black woman, and thinking about that and how many Black women are in those positions. And I found that really exciting. So I tried to just source as many strong women as I could. And when I watched the first series and I saw those two characters, Juno and Hannah's characters, and I just knew there was no holes barred. They had such a wonderful grasp of these women and characters and the strength, and they weren't afraid to show that. And so I knew that they paved the way for me to be able to do that. And there was a possibility to do that and not feel afraid if she's strong in this place, not to come across as too strong, and to have that kind of joy. So I mean, I just tried to just source as much as I could of the women that inspire me.
And I mean, I had a very pleasurable hour's chat with Jason the other day, who does seem, to have something of Ted Lasso in him, and Ted Lasso seems to have something of him in Ted Lasso. Would that be fair? Was it just for me? Was the moment I left? Did he
he comes out with some pearls? He comes out with some pearls as himself sometimes, and I think, God damn it, so slick the way he comes out with these things, and you're like, hold on, let me just get my phone out, I want to write that down. Just because obviously there's so much going on in his head with the trajectory of it all, and he's got kiddies.
Because he knows the beginning to the end,
so annoying
for all of us.
Yeah,
created this world for all of us, and I think his casting has been more specific than we will ever have any clue. So absolutely. Actually, also when you think about that, not is it just so cool to be a part of the show that has had a beautiful reception out in the world, but actually to have somebody believe that you could in an alternate reality actually be these people, pretty cool. And I do think Jason has done his casting very specifically like that. And
you were saying, Hannah, that Jason's got he's doing 17 things at once, essentially.
Yeah,
217.
Yeah. I don't think anyone can fathom. I think people are more and more so coming from his SNL world, all his movies and all the stuff, and being seen as that, not stereotypical, but very handsome, all of that. He is so deliciously complicated and extraordinarily talented. I actually still find, here we are in season 2, I find myself just gently gawping at him sometimes, because I'm like, how do you do all of this?
Right.
And kind of gently tweak us along the way as well, and then you're on camera as well. It's just I find him an extraordinary human being.
Me too. Yeah. And he's very incredibly observant. Amazing how he observes everything. He's definitely I feel like he's a sponge of knowledge. Do you know what I mean? He's soaking in information all the time, storing it and saving it, and then 2 months down the line he'll reuse it, which is also why the show has those moments that, little seeds get planted throughout the first season and happen again in the second season, little tiny seeds, and they become very important again later. And I think Jason's brain works like that in real life.
Yeah, the fact that he can hold all those worlds in his head, I just don't know. He's like a Jedi Knight when it comes to storytelling. It's like, I'm like, what?
He is.
He really is. Because I mean, the scene I was filming the other day, and it brought me back to another scene in series 1 that I remember watching that was with you, Hannah, and him, and they were playing darts, and just something I was like, oh my gosh, oh, that makes sense now. You know, you start placing things that, yeah, it's just,
that scene is a prime example of
that.
Like me being there as Rebecca, but also me being there as Hannah, just gently gawping, because it was quite astonishing, because his main monologue was not that shape, even like half an hour before we shot it. And so listening to it was a bit of a voyage of discovery for me as well. And it was just astonishing the way he could cut and paste bits that he'd wanted to add in, and just extraordinary.
You know, Rupert, guys have underestimated me my entire life. And for years, I never understood why. It used to really bother me. But then one day, I was driving my little boy to school, and I saw this quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall there. It said, "Be curious, not judgmental." I like that. So I get back in my car, and I'm driving to work, and all of a sudden, it hits me. All them fellas that used to belittle me, not a single one of them were curious. You know, they thought they had everything all figured out, and so they judged everything, and they judged everyone. And I realized that they're underestimating me. Who I was had nothing to do with it. Because if they were curious, they would ask questions, you know? Questions like, have you played a lot of darts, Ted?
No, I talked to Bill Lawrence, and he was saying that, you know, he wasn't really complaining, but he was saying that people compliment him on the writing and Jason on the acting. And he said, well, Jason wrote that darts. You know, it wasn't, you know.
I mean, we're so lucky with the team of writers that are also involved, and that Jason has put his faith in with writing a lot of stuff as well, because it's an extraordinary group of people that are creating this world and that have a grasp on these characters that Jason has kind of, you know, shared his universe with, and then invited them into, and then invited us into it. And it does, I don't know, it's a really special job for that, because everyone really seems to be grateful for the sort of journey that we're going on. And that's something I've never experienced really before, where everybody seems to be grateful, you know, and everyone is grateful for what we're putting out there and what we're doing each day. And yeah, I guess the journey that we're taking Richmond FC on. So it's like,
you know what, actually, Clark, the fact that I'm not sure any of us would have been in a job where we've not only got the creator of it, but we've got two of the main writers in Brendan Hunt as Coach Beard and Brett Goldstein as Roy Kent. They are literally at our disposal. And sometimes during a scene, you're like, hold on, why am I saying this? And they're like, go. And you're like, okay, it's just a privilege.
Yeah.
And I want to get a little bit micro on you. Hannah, can we talk biscuits for a second?
Come on then.
What are those biscuits like?
They were interesting in season 1, dry and hard to eat several of. I made a rod for my own back, because I decided that once she discovered that she loved them, she slightly became an emotional eater with them from all the that was going on. So then I couldn't shove enough of them down my face quick enough while I was doing scenes. And then I was like, I should have thought this through, because now there's no saliva in my mouth at all. But I think I've complained about them so much, basically everywhere, in every interview, that now they're actually not half bad, my friend.
Now she gets them shipped from Paris? No.
Yeah. Yeah, is that not normal?
I brought you a little something.
Oh.
Yeah, cookies. Or, as y'all call them here, biscuits, right? Though I do not recommend you smother these in gravy.
Oh, Ted, I don't really...
Oh, come on, I'll take a looky there.
Oh, these do look good.
Right? Go ahead, take a nibble. That's it. Away you go.
Me. Where did you get these?
I'm glad you like them. You know what? I'll start bringing these to you every morning. Called Biscuits with the Boss.
That really isn't necessary.
Okay, well, mark this down as the first time we disagree then.
Sarah, have you tasted the biscuits as of yet?
Oh my goodness, because Hannah's such a good actress that when I watched her eat those biscuits, I got a chance to eat the biscuits. I think it was my second day. I put that biscuit in my mouth and I was like, what the hell is this?
What is this? Thank you.
And I said, they asked me if I wanted water. I said, no, I don't need water. I'm just going to eat it. And I said, thank goodness I don't like them. Say I don't eat sugar. They were awful.
The greatest acting job of my life, my friends.
Oh gosh.
Hannah, you have this in season 1. You have this amazing karaoke scene. Could you talk about? Well, talk about prepping for that and doing it and what that was like.
Well, initially, I was a bit like, why is the owner of the football club singing? And Jason went, right, you've been in musical theatre for 20 years, why not? Right. I was like, okay. And then he said, because it's a great chance, in all seriousness, it's a great chance because the episode's called Make Rebecca Great Again, so it's a chance for the players in the club to have a moment with her and see that she can let her hair down. It's a reminder to her that she's in a safe place to let her hair down. So that was the premise for it. And then it was quite funny because when I saw that it said, let it go, I went to Jason and said, right, as a singer, I've avoided singing this song since it came out because it's a beast. And he was like, okay, I hear you. And this is how he rolls in general. Okay, he's stroking the tash. Okay, You go and find me a song that's better like the center of the Venn diagram for your character, my character, the show in general. Off you go. And I was like, fine. I will. Obviously went into my room and I was like, through my Rolodex in my head, I was like, which one could I use? This, that, what? And of course I went back to him and went, I don't know. So then I said to him, but can we at least not outstay our welcome? Can I just do like a verse and a chorus? Because I don't want it to turn into like, oh, she's a musical theatre girl, So we at least had that because, of course, he knew that we were then getting into Ted's head, his panic attack and the juxtaposition of that song and what Rebecca's going through at the time. So unfortunately, he knows exactly what he's doing and had chosen the right song. So I just had to get on with it in the end.
So I remember watching that episode and thinking it was also it's special as well because it involves Nora, it involves your goddaughter as well. So it's about bringing in the little girlness of that, but that power of that song too. Yeah, I remember thinking that was so gorgeous as well. Yeah,
that's why it was so annoying that he got it spot on in the first place, which is why he's a writer and I'm not.
Hannah, as you say, you do have a background in musical theatre. I'm not going to ask you to sing for your supper now, and I'm guessing karaoke must be a bit of a busman's holiday, to throw in a phrase that will confuse every single American.
Yeah, I don't do karaoke. No, purely because you sound like a bit of a dick when you get up and you're a singer.
Fair enough. Do you have a karaoke song, Juno?
We had to do karaoke as a cast last season for Jason's birthday, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever been more terrified in my life than walking into a room of not just a group of brilliant comedians, but comedians that can sing. Okay, as an actress that is not known for comedy, is dramatic and does not sing unless like properly in a recording studio with an actual guiding force of somebody to help me through, was genuinely one of the most terrifying moments of my life. But luckily I picked Like a Prayer, and when my knees gave way with anxiety, it was great because it looked like I was praying. And Brett just looked down at me and was like, are you okay? I was like, I won't get back up, so I'm just going to stay here. And he was like, it's great.
Like, okay, I'll join you.
That worked. And then I'm not going to lie, Brendan Hunt got me to sing the Robbie Williams and Kylie Minogue song. What's it called again?
It was gorgeous.
So by the end of the night, I did sing that with Brendan, which was really cool. But yeah, Like a Prayer, go to, because if you collapse, it works. You just put your hands together and it looks like you're Madonna praying.
And Sarah, when you all gather to celebrate Jason Sudekis' next birthday, what will you be singing?
Who knows? If you'll let me in.
I'm going to drag you there by your hair and go, no, kick her. You go.
Yeah, I'm not going if she's not going.
And Sarah, I do have you've been in so many great shows. I May Destroy You. So many others.
What a show!
Yes.
What a show! My God, right, sorry. Yeah.
But I'm the world's biggest Doctor Who fan. And I may be wrong here, so you could just say you're wrong and get out of. I'm putting you on the spot really, but you're in one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever, right?
Boom! I have no idea. It's so funny. I'm a bit of a geeky, sci-fi geeky, a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, it's Doctor Who. It's so funny. Like as you know, Hannah, when you do shows and people come to stage door, I get so many Doctor Who fans. And I was only in it for, I had 1 or 2 scenes in it. It was hardly anything.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not the size, it's what you do with it.
Yeah, the fans, man.
And what were you in Cardiff? What do you remember about that?
I had to have prosthetics, and I love prosthetics. I just love it. So I had to have a cast, and I was like some kind of robot thing. I don't even remember. Node, I think I was called. But yeah, I love the prosthetics. I geeked off that. I was just like, wow, you do that, you put that. I was just like,
but that really kind of wears off when you're having prosthetics done at bloody 4 o'clock in the morning. You're like, why did I agree to this? And then you see yourself at the end and you're like, I look wicked.
So this isn't a trick question. I should say that I'm a Manchester United supporter, and I'm a typical Manchester United supporter in as much as I've never seen them. And apart from Marcus Rashford, couldn't tell you a single person on the team. So I'm a very bad Man U supporter. But are you? I hate saying. I should say soccer, I guess, but I'm going to say football.
No, you should say football.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's football. Are you football supporters? Do you follow football generally?
So I grew up in a household of a brother that is a diehard Chelsea supporter. Both brothers now, but my middle brother was actually scouted to potentially play for England when he was like 14 and got into an accident and really screwed his knees. So I grew up with that going on in my house in a big way. But my father is an Arsenal supporter, so it has been interesting. My dad is an extraordinary filmmaker and documentarian, very artistic man, and my brother is a poet, and the other brother is learning to be an astrophysicist. So they're all very dreamy and very kind of sensitive men. And then football comes on and it's like a different household, especially if it's Chelsea versus Arsenal. It's like, whoa. But I am aware that Chelsea are doing extraordinarily well right now because my brother's moods are very high. So I personally am not like a crazy football supporter, but it was an undeniable part of my life.
I used to have to be, not by choice, football widow of, I used to have to go to Liverpool a lot and sit in the Kop, which I know is a privilege, but it kind of went over my head. And I appreciate, it was all around the time of kind of Robbie Fowler, and it was fascinating to observe the people there. And I love the game when it's at its kind of world level of all the different countries, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a fan.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah. I remember I'm from South London, so Crystal Palace was the local team, and at the time John Salako used to play, and his mum used to be our teacher, science teacher. And I just remember everybody my brother's crazy about football. My daughter plays football now, but I'm like one of those annoying people, like you've had a few drinks and you ask someone who smokes regularly, can I have a fag, please? So I'm like one of those, like I love to watch the World Cup, like watch all the countries.
There we go.
But, yeah, and I lived in Manchester for a long time, so loads of people were Man City fans or Man United fans, but I was just like, don't understand the game. So
I mean, undeniably, I think also like just watching it, sometimes you're like, wow, the athletic brilliance of football players is, mind-blowing. Yeah.
The thighs.
The backs of the
beautiful
thighs.
And just the physique in general and the stamina. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've found the reason for the success of Ted Lasso is thighs. Can
I just say the greatest thing, and it's it's probably terribly un-PC, but it's quite good doing a show with lots of fabulous football-y type men in it.
And also a lot of the football boys play real football and have football.
The show itself, this has been an absolute treat. It just leads me to say really that Ted Lasso season 2 premieres July 23rd, and thank you for everybody for watching, but particularly thank you you three. It's been an absolute treat. Hannah Waddingham, Juno Temple, and Sarah Niles, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And ladies, I love you so much.